Win over the Seahawks on Saturday, Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers are now just 3 wins away from a Super Bowl trophy. He's been there before, but he never got to hoist the Lombardi. And, of course, they went to the NFC Championship a year ago, and he was a part of the 28-3 crew in Atlanta. Here's the statement. A Lombardi trophy for Kyle Shanahan would do more for his legacy than any of the other 7 head coaches left in the playoffs. Are we in or are we out, Jason McCourty?
A Lombardi would be huge for Kyle Shanahan, but I am out on this one. Andy Reid is still in the playoffs, and Andy Reid's coaching career has been phenomenal. Ranked 5th all-time in regular season wins, and then he is ranked 3rd in playoff wins, and he's only 1 win away from moving into 2nd behind Bill Belichick. And as you look at that list of these playoff wins for these head coaches, all of them have multiple Super Bowl wins. Landry, Bill Belichick. Andy Reid only has 1. He's been there 3 times. An opportunity to get the 2nd one, get into that conversation of multiple Super Bowl wins with a quarterback like Patrick Mahomes and what they have on that roster gives them a chance to win a few of them. And when they won back in 2019, that's what we were always saying. How many Super Bowls can Andy Reid win with this quarterback, Patrick Mahomes? It's only been 1 so far. I think for his legacy, he needs to get multiple Super Bowl wins with Patrick Mahomes. I think this year is a great opportunity to do that more than the Shanahan legacy, Andy Reid, to me.
I want to make a clarification in these answers that, like, if we pick a coach, it's not, I'm not saying that I think he is going to win. I don't think, like, his path is easy. It's like, if he wins. If Doug Peterson wins another Super Bowl, he is on a list with Dick Vermeil, Don Shula, Dan Reeves, Bill Parcells. The list goes on of coaches that have led 2 teams to Super Bowls. But to win with 2 different teams, and the teams in which he got there, that Philadelphia Eagles team and the quarterback situation he went through there, this Jaguars team, what he took over. If he were to win in those 2 franchises, the teams that he had in those seasons, again, he's going up against our guy with multiple statues in a lot of different places. Winston Churchill.
We were in London. We were talking about if Doug Peterson wins the Super Bowl with Jacksonville, would he get a 2nd statue like he has in Philadelphia? And then we're like, who has more than 1 statue? We decided Winston Churchill has like 7.
So
maybe he'll get there eventually.
He might get one in London, as they are the Jaguars' 2nd year.
It's incredible.
Doug Peterson next to Churchill.
Yeah. Well, he'll win a Super Bowl with Jacksonville, and then they'll fire him a couple years later, and then he'll win one with the Texans or something. Peter, I'm out on Shanahan. Shanahan already has this crazy amount of respect, and he's looked at as like a genius. I think Sean McDermott already is looked at as kind of a legend because he broke the playoff drought, and he has the Bills in the playoffs. Peterson, we mentioned. Daboll's interesting because if Daboll wins the Super Bowl this year, he'll be like the new McVay, like the genius, like the really. But listen, I'm going last night. I'm going to Big Mike. I'm going Mike McCarthy because I mentioned all those guys. Some of those guys I mentioned don't even have Super Bowls. They all have a lot of respect. I don't know what the respect level is from Mike McCarthy generally, and then whether that's wrong or right. Jamie was listing people who have 2 Super Bowl wins as head coaches. Doing it years and years apart is very rare. Normally you stack them together in a nice little bunch. You got the same quarterback, maybe the same team. If Mike won one with Dallas and did what about 50 other Dallas head coaches could not do under Jerry Jones, and if he did it with Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy, Peter, then the Hall of Fame conversation starts with Mike McCarthy. Them's the rules. You have 2 Super Bowl wins. You have tons of other wins. You have Hall of Fame players. Can you imagine that? It's amazing what a couple of playoff wins will do for you. I think it's Mike.
I think it's Mike also.
Do you?
And I think, because I think Kyle Shanahan gets that ultimate respect, and everyone says, well, Mike is often, he's always on the hot seat. Every day he's on the hot seat. If they go 13 wins, they go 14 wins. If they lose in the playoffs, on the hot seat. Mike winning last night was huge, and I think to your point, to win 2 and bookend them for 2010 and then 2023 with 2 different teams and 2 legendary franchises.
True.
You got to put Mike McCarthy in that conversation of, like, not only great coaches, but, like, one of the all-time greats.
Can I throw another name at you?
Yeah.
Zach Taylor.
Gosh.
Back-to-back Super Bowls. He wins one. He brings the Bengals to Super Bowl. Then it's like, geez, Zach Taylor in this AFC would be amazing.
Yeah, especially at his age.
Yeah.
He's a younger guy.
Make a case for all of them, huh?
I interpret the word legacy more to the Mike McCarthy experience, like the longevity of it. Like Zach Taylor's just at the beginning, like when I think of the word legacy.
Such a cool career. Like, Peterson and McCarthy were both fired. Like, that's cool to go back and win.
Cool.
All right, let's go to the second question here, because we really got into Lamar yesterday, and I think it's still a hot topic. We'll be dissecting all the stuff about Lamar, his injury, the offseason, but let's take a first whack at it right now as we're 2 days removed from the Ravens being removed from the playoffs. Here's a look at some of the potential free agent quarterbacks this season. Now, of course, guys can be franchise tagged, they can be exclusive franchise tagged, they can be non-exclusive franchise tagged. There's a lot here. Here's my statement. The Jets should do everything in their power to acquire Lamar Jackson this offseason. Are we in or are we out, Jason McCourty?
So many variables dictate this, but Lamar Jackson's health down the stretch, we talked about this, and not just the knee this year, but ongoing. There's been practices missed, all of that, illness, different things. I'm in. New York Jets, if you can go get Lamar Jackson, with the way their defense played this year, they rank at the top of every stat you can look at defensively. Points allowed, yards allowed, top 5 in all of those things. As soon as you flip over to the other side and you start looking at the offense, they're at the bottom of the NFL in every category. They just moved on, parted ways with their offensive coordinator, so that opens up the door to get somebody that can run an offense that best helps Lamar Jackson to succeed, and they have weapons on the outside, probably more than he's ever had at Baltimore, which would allow him a ton of success. New York Jets, you're ready to win right now. If you're going to give up to go get Derek Carr, somebody like that, if you have an opportunity to go get Lamar Jackson, go all in, put your assets up, and bring LJ to the Big Apple.
Yeah, the Jets moved on from Mike LaFleur. They also moved on from their offensive line coach, right? So it's going to be a new look on the offensive side of the ball for the Jets. I am also very far in on this. I think it would be hot fodder within the AFC to have Lamar Jackson come to New York. But I think if you have the money and you have the investment capital to do so, revamp your offensive line, get guys in there. To Peter's point yesterday, he said the Ravens have built this team around what Lamar can do. Go out and get a couple of guys for your trench that can work with a quarterback that can run, get an offensive line coach that knows how to handle the situation. And he still has a long future, Lamar Jackson does. You can build your team now. You can do it with the wide receivers that you have and the defense that you have and the coach, the head coach that you have. I'm in on it. I love this option.
I like the idea of the Jets getting a free agent quarterback because I don't trust them to draft another one. We can only have so many whiffs. Like, go out and get somebody.
Very true.
I think I like the fit with the team. How do you like the fit with the city? Lamar is extremely mercurial, the no agent thing, the mysteriousness about his health condition, all that type of stuff. I don't know how that fits in New York. And I don't know if, listen, he seems like an awesome guy. His teammates are singing this week about how much they love him. I just know how that works sometimes. I've seen guys come to this market, and it's not an overrated thing. The knives are out. It's much more intrusive, much more exploratory in every single moment of your career and your life. I don't know if Lamar would like that. I don't know if the media would like that. Of course, he's a great athlete. You put him out there in the Jets, and it sounds awesome. They have a superstar. Is it an 8, 9, 10-year thing with Lamar Jackson? Because that's what you're paying him for. I don't know about if I like the fit. I think it's a certain type of athlete, and I think he likes to live in his own world. You don't do that here.
Yeah,
unfortunately,
let's
you can't.
say the Ravens franchise tag and put one of those franchise tags. What would usually be if it's one of those non-exclusives, to not get into the contract minutia, you probably have to trade 2 first-round picks and pay him $250 million. So it's a huge investment. Economically speaking, do you rather have Derek Carr and say, okay, we trade to the Raiders a 3rd-round pick and we restructure his contract? That's the only thing, because once you give all that money to Lamar, then do you have the money left to pay Garrett Wilson eventually?
Speak to the Solid Williams. What's the fit there? He likes this.
I think Solid would dig Lamar.
Superstar.
I think so. Superstar, tough, and runs and plays in a way that is really advantageous for a defense because he can control the ball. I think it's a great fit. The city thing's interesting. You know, remember when Randy Johnson came here and he was this big superstar?
Don't talk back to me. Get out of my face.
He pushed a camera guy down.
Yeah, Lamar's not doing that.
Not Lamar, right? But even the biggest superstars come to New York, and the media can eat you whole. And I think Baltimore media has done a pretty good job, but the fan base in Baltimore is so pro-Lamar that in this town, look how quick they turned on Zach Wilson.
But I think actually what Lamar has done with being so insular is like maybe he actually has the protective mechanism to guard against that. It's interesting. Coming up, it was all smiles with Jerry Jones last night in Tampa Bay. He was happy. He was thrilled. Can the Cowboys get another road win this weekend in San Fran? Yeah, there he is. That's a camera shot.